Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-NextGen, Sierra Space's Dream Chaser may soon be airborne. First flight for Joby turbine-electric hybrid aircraft. And Archer displays eVTOL in UAE flight test campaign. And I'm your host, Holland Lee. Welcome to the Aero-News Network's Airborne-NextGen program, a weekly news program covering the next generation of flight, from electric power to vertical lift, uncrewed vehicles, and everything in between. Let's get into today's stories. Sierra Space's Dream Chaser may soon be airborne. Sierra Space's Dream Chaser spaceplane has cleared another round of pre-flight milestones at Kennedy Space Center. The company has been running the spacecraft through a long list of test campaigns ahead of its debut under NASA's CRS-2 cargo contract. The Dream Chaser's most recent accomplishments include electromagnetic interference and compatibility testing inside the Space Systems Processing Facility, demonstrating that its avionics and subsystems behave properly in the kinds of charged environments it will encounter from launch to landing. These EMI/EMC tests are standard for new spacecraft for their ability to expose integration issues, though Sierra Space listed none. Tow testing followed this up at the Launch and Landing Facility, where a Freightliner Cascadia tractor pulled the spaceplane down the runway at a high speed to simulate landing dynamics. The testing checked Dream Chaser's autonomous guidance during rollout. The company also reported a series of successful command and control tests using NASA's Tracking and Data Relay satellite system. Mission Control in Louisville, Colorado, sent and received telemetry through TDRSS with the spaceplane. To conclude the campaign, teams conducted a post-landing recovery to replicate safing procedures and rapid access to internal payloads. Dream Chaser remains on schedule for a Q4 2026 launch to low Earth orbit, culminating in a runway landing at Vandenberg Space Force Base. After the break, Abu Dhabi launches world's first Vertiport network.
For over 30 years, the massive Sport Plane Resource Guide has provided expert, credible information, evaluations, and critical analysis of all that the sport aviation world has to offer. The all-new digital Sport Plane Resource Guide is coming with extensive multimedia features that are constantly updated, an even more comprehensive online guide to all things sport aviation. Available soon. www.sportplane.com.
Welcome back. Now for some shorter stories in our Next Gen Minute. Abu Dhabi launches world's first Vertiport network. Abu Dhabi announced on November 10th it's commencing one of the world's first Vertiport network as a first step in remaking urban transportation. The project will connect several strategic destinations across the city with electric VTOL aircraft while also providing fast travel options that save time with lower emissions. The project is also intended as a showcase for advancing the concept of modern urban air mobility, and the network anticipates the first eVTOL flights in 2026 with a phased rollout over 10 public vertiports located at critical urban transit locations. Anduril and EDGE partner on cutting-edge autonomous systems. Anduril Industries and EDGE Group, two defense companies developing autonomous systems, have formed a production alliance intended to accelerate the design, development, and production of advanced autonomous systems for both civil and defense missions in the Middle East and beyond. Although some details of the arrangement are still being finalized, the parties in the joint venture confirmed it will be based in the UAE, where they will co-develop disruptive autonomous systems in a 50,000 square foot research, development, and virtual simulation center. Vertical lauds CAA's eVTOL regulatory framework. Vertical Aerospace, a developer of electric aircraft based in Bristol, England, voiced its support for the UK CAA publication of a policy consultation that lays out the regulatory framework for commercial eVTOL aircraft operations planned for launch in 2028. The consultation aligns with Vertical's timeline for certification and market entry and represents a pivotal moment for the UK's advanced air mobility segment to enable the first eVTOL services by 2028. Vertical gets permit to fly, piloted transition flights begin. Vertical Aerospace announced it received its permit to fly from the CAA and has begun Phase 4 transition flight testing, the final phase of the flight test program for Vertical's VX4 prototype. Regulatory approval for Phase 4 allows Vertical to begin testing the signature maneuver of vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, seamlessly shifting from vertical takeoff and hover mode to wingborne flight or airplane mode. Paul Stone, Vertical's test pilot, performed the first flight in Phase 4 in the morning of November 13, 2025. That's it for our Next Gen Minute. Let's get back to the rest of the news. First flight for Joby turbine-electric hybrid aircraft. Joby Aviation announced the first flight of its recently developed turbine-electric autonomous VTOL aircraft. This comes just 3 months after the aircraft concept was announced in conjunction with L3Harris Technologies, who brings technologies and expertise to address defense applications for the U.S. military. The demo aircraft is modified to integrate a hybrid turbine powertrain with a fully electric air taxi platform and Joby's SuperPilot autonomy technology to deliver longer-range air taxi service as well as for commercial, civilian, and defense customers. The collaboration with L3Harris will bring missionization expertise including sensors, effectors, communications, and collaborative autonomy. The intent is to equip Joby's hybrid aircraft for defense applications, including contested logistics, loyal wingman operations, and low-altitude support. The U.S. government has requested $9 billion for the acquisition of next-gen, resilient, autonomous, and hybrid aircraft in the fiscal year 2026 budget. The aircraft performed its first flight at Joby's Marina, California facility on November 7th. The company will continue ground and flight testing prior to participating in operational demos for government customers in 2026. After these messages, Archer displays eVTOL in UAE flight test campaign.
Are you ready to ace your FAA drone pilot knowledge test, get your remote pilot certificate, and start earning money? Well, flying a drone is a great tool that can open up new business opportunities for anyone. Realtor, insurance adjuster, videographer, or commercial weekend drone warrior, you need to fly legally. Whether you're pursuing your initial Part 107 remote pilot certificate or you need a renewal, King Schools has a course just for you. So start learning today at kingschools.com.
Welcome back. Archer displays eVTOL in UAE flight test campaign. Archer Aviation announced the completion of a flight test program of its Midnight aircraft in country in the UAE, with its operating environment over desert areas. The flight showcased the Midnight's full flight envelope, including vertical takeoff, transition, and wingborne flights, and the campaign signifies a major step forward in the implementation of Abu Dhabi's vision for advanced air mobility. The flight showcased the Midnight's full flight envelope, including vertical takeoff, transition, and wingborne flights, and the campaign signifies a major step forward in the implementation of Abu Dhabi's vision for advanced air mobility. The plans for AAM were developed under the supervision of the Integrated Transport Center. Pursuant to the Launch Edition program and this flight test progress, Archer has begun receiving payments under its agreement with Abu Dhabi Aviation. The flight test campaign in Abu Dhabi successfully demonstrated Midnight's performance and reliability under the operating and environmental conditions specific to the UAE, and support Archer's pathway toward operational readiness in the region. The tests were coordinated with UAE's General Civil Aviation Authority, Integrated Transport Center, and Abu Dhabi Aviation. Beyond flight testing, Archer and its partners are making progress in certification of the aircraft and preparations for pilot training and aircraft maintenance. Archer hosted the GCAA at the company's headquarters in San Jose, California, for a week-long working session to accelerate its way through the regulatory process in the Emirates. Archer's airline team has worked alongside Etihad Aviation Training for advancing pilot training to mature its operational readiness. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.